At number 1, the O'Reilly Factor, Fox News Channel. Be here.
We showed them the money and lots of it, and now it turns out some banks didn't even want it in the first place. Can you believe that? They didn't want your taxpayer money, so they want to give it back. Bankers are now claiming that they were actually forced to take bailout funds, and now at least one is begging to give the money back, with interest even, but says that the Obama team won't take it. So does this mean the government is intentionally trying to control the banking industry? Let's ask Pennsylvania Congressman Joe Sestak, a Democrat and vice chairman of the House Small Business Committee, and Louisiana Congressman Charles Boustany, a Republican and member of the House Ways and Means Committee. Thank you, gentlemen, for talking to us. Congressman Sestak, you know, some of the big lenders say that they want to give the TARP money back, but they're not allowed. Why is that?
You know, I've heard these rumors, but I yet to see it substantiated. For example, just the other day, 4 banks, Signature, Old National, returned the money. It's also interesting that I know that when we lent the money to these banks, that the spread between the LIBOR rate, overnight lending among banks, and the Treasury was about 5%. Today, it's down to 1%, which means banks are beginning to be able to get credit more easily. So I actually think it's a healthy sign they want to give it back, and they can. Do I think at times the government may jawbone a bit and say, look, it's great to have you keep it because more credit is out there? Absolutely. But we've already seen 4 banks do it, so I don't see any reason why others cannot.
Congressman Boustany, I mean, others say that they weren't allowed to refuse money in the first place. I mean, is that healthy? Is the Obama administration trying to take control of the banks? Is that a healthy thing to do?
Well, many of the banks have been pushed into taking this money, and many of them did not need the money or want the money. Let me emphasize that we have community banks across the country that are very, very solid, doing very well. And in fact, one of the banks in my district, in my hometown, as a matter of fact, Iberia Bank, recently gave the money back because they were concerned about the strings attached with this money and the increasing intrusiveness of the federal government.
Well, yeah, but I mean, intrusiveness of the federal government doesn't seem to stop. I mean, every single day we learn about how either the president or Congress are going to take control of something. I mean, last weekend we learned that it was actually the White House that forced GM CEO to step down. What's next? Todd H. on Twitter writes me, the whole GM thing may make little banks think twice before getting involved. If they get into trouble, then the government takes over. Congressman Sestak, I mean, that is true.
Yes, you know, Julie, it's interesting. It's now been almost 5 or 6 months since President Bush gave most of these banks, or allegedly forced it upon them, since President Obama's only been around for a few weeks. And it's interesting, the 522 banks that took it, it's only now that there's rumors that banks were forced to take it. You would have think if there was some conspiracy, we would have heard about it before now. Oh, by the way, of the 420 or 25 banks that took money that was less than $300 million, none of them, by law, are under any executive compensation restrictions. Now, it did say that they couldn't pay out more in dividends than they were already doing, but it seemed to make sense at the time when we were trying to put capital into the market.
All right, Congressman Boustany, I want to give you the final word before I let you guys go in about 15 seconds.
Well, let me say, first of all, what we need is clarity as to what the Obama administration is proposing now. This TARP program has evolved into all kinds of different separate programs, and we need an exit strategy. We need an exit strategy to get the taxpayer out of the banking system.
All right, Congressman, thank you to both of you. We'll be right back.
Thank you very much.
GM's Rick Wagner.